Hello there. Today I'm going to be talking about an underrated guitar chord voicing. This isn't a brand new voicing. I'm sure some people have used this before, but it's a voicing that I find to be quite versatile and easily applicable to a lot of the guitar chord knowledge that we already have. And so I wanted to share it with you, and we're going to talk through some ways that we can apply it to standards or any composition that we already know. This is the voicing. And I'll play it one note at a time. So in this context, the notes are F, C sharp, D, G. And we can of course move that around. I'm going to talk in a moment about the logic of this voicing, but firstly, I'll just say that it is quite a versatile voicing because not only can you play this, but you can also place your first finger to play that, or you can place your second finger to place it there. Now, let's talk about the logic of how this chord is constructed, or how this voicing is constructed. I'm going to remove my pinky and play this, which now this looks like a very standard chord shape. You can think of this as either a G minor 7, where we have F, B flat, D, and G. It would be like a G minor 7 in third inversion. Or you can think about it as a B flat 6. And that's the way that, for this context, we're going to be thinking about it. We're going to be thinking about it as a B flat 6. And the reason why is because if I put my second finger down here, we have a B flat 7. This is a really standard voicing: F, B flat, D, A flat. And of course you can move this around for a D7 or a B7, but coming back here, we have a B flat 7 chord in second inversion. Or we can place our third finger to make this a B flat major 7 chord: F, B flat, D, A natural. And if you wanted to make this just a big old triad, you could put your pinky down there. But if we return to these three shapes, B flat 6, B flat 7, B flat major 7, then you'll notice that we still have our pinky free. And what I've done for this voicing, this underrated voicing, is I've placed my pinky in what would be the equivalent of the sharp 9 of these voicings. So, B flat 6, I'm using my pinky and I'm placing it on this C sharp note here. The note that I'm replacing is the tonic, which is all right to get rid of because it's one of the less essential notes in the chord voicing. And what I end up having is a sort of B flat 6 sharp 9 chord. If I were to keep my pinky here and add this finger, I have a sort of B flat 7 sharp 9 chord. And if I place my third finger, I have a B flat major 7 sharp 9 chord. And what's great about this is that for me, and for my ears at least, the sharp 9 is less, it stands out less than in other sharp 9 voicings, like that, where the sharp 9, that's a major 7 sharp 9, so C, E, B, D sharp, C dominant 7, or a C Hendrix chord, C, E, B flat, D sharp. In all of these chords, the sharp 9 is really the prominent note. It's the note that's standing out. However, with these voicings, we've kind of sneakily buried the sharp 9 in a semitone cluster in the middle. Depending on the context, your ear can kind of hear it as a general color or a bluesy note, but you could really get away with pretending that that's just a B flat major 6 chord. Right? One more thing before we talk about how we can apply it is I'm just going to say, on top of adding the notes to change the quality from a B flat 6 to a B flat 7 to a B flat major 7, you can also do this little shift here where you keep the top note the same by adding a finger. And so you can figure out your own voice leading ways for why that might be useful. But okay, so now we're going to take a look at how we can apply these chord voicings to the jazz standard on the sunny side of the street. Okay, we're just going to take a look at the first 4 bars, and we'll start by just talking about what the basic chords are. We start with a C major chord. We go to an E7 chord. Then we go to an F major 7 chord. We have a 2-5 where we do B half diminished, E dominant 7, A minor 7, D7, D minor 7, G7, and then either back to C or we have a turnaround. And now we're going to try and find ways to apply these voicings with the sneaky sharp 9 into this standard. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to find voicings for all of the chords that fall into one of these 3 original shapes, so that we can apply the pinky to add the sharp 9. So let's start with C major 7 or C major 6. We can use this voicing here, which is like an A minor 7, and then add the sharp 9. But the first thing I'm going to do, just so that we are comfortable with all of the chords, is I'm going to work through and find all of the voicings, because then we can very easily just add our pinky. So start with this. So pack your Next chord is E dominant 7, and we're going to play this voicing here. The next chord is F major 7. We're going to play this voicing here. Next up we have a B half diminished, but we're going to just follow the Joe Pass advice of there is no 2, and we're going to just play E7 again. Next we have an A minor 7, and then a D7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Okay? Now, what I did there, the reason I chose all of those voicings is because they are all examples of either this shape, or this shape. They are all major chord voicings in second inversion, and we can easily add the sharp 9 by adding our pinky. And so now I'm just going to play a quick run through of On the Sunny Side of the Street with those voicings that I found. 2, 3, 4. Now, with that same logic, I can easily make all of these chords sharp 9 chords, and it still vaguely sounds like it follows the shape of the harmony without really aggressively changing or adding a different color to it. So, 2. So generally you can apply this to any circumstance where you have a major 6 chord, a dominant 7 chord, or a major 7 chord, and add a little bit of a sharp 9 flavor to it without it sounding too spicy. But what's also really great, and this is why I think the chord voicing is so versatile, is you can use the voicing in other areas or other inversions that might not be immediately apparent to you. So, for example, the first thing we had this shape where we did a C major 6 sharp 9, and then I jumped up here for the E dominant 7 to make it an E7 sharp 9. However, the first thing you'll notice is that there's not that great voice leading going on here because I'm jumping from here all the way up here. And it can kind of work, it's not the end of the world, but what I've noticed as well is, let's go from this shape and try to find a nearby shape that also works over the E dominant 7 chord. And what you can do is if you move this up here and add your first finger, or add your second finger, we have this shape, which is G sharp, E natural, F, B. And in the context of E7, this is the major 3rd, tonic, flat 9, and the 5th. And this also works. So you can crack your coat. You've done a very smooth voice leading up to a sort of E7 flat 9 voicing. And you can experiment, you can look around and you can think, are there any other places that it maybe works out? So what about doing this voicing here for that F major 7 chord? Your coat. So we've got all of these really close voicings using this very versatile shape. And you can go through and you can puzzle solve and you can problem solve whatever way you like to try and find circumstances where these chord shapes fit over the harmony. For example, before we did this for D7, but what if you did something like this, where you had F sharp, D natural, E flat, and A. You have a sort of D7 flat 9 chord, which is the same logic we used for this E7 flat 9. And another example, something that might not immediately stand out, you can use this shape for the D7. This is C, G sharp, A, E flat, where you have a flat 7, a sharp 4, a perfect 5th, and a flat 9. And then, for example, we would know that we're going to resolve to some sort of G chord. Well, what about that? B, so the major 3rd, G, the tonic, A flat, the flat 9, and D, the 5th. So while yes, the immediate logic to this voicing is that you're adapting major 6, dominant 7, major 7 voicings into major 6, dominant 7, major 7, sharp 9 voicings, more often I think you'll be able to use the versatility of the voicing to find chord shapes that are not immediately obvious or apparent to you, and you might also start to see connections between chords that weren't immediately obvious. So, for example, I talked about how this voicing is quite good for an E7 because it's like an E7 flat 9, but also if we were treating this with our normal formula, this would be a D flat 7 chord, D flat 7 sharp 9. So now you can see that there is a similarity between E7 flat 9 and a D flat 7 sharp 9. That maybe wasn't immediately apparent, and I'll leave it here because from now you can go and find other places where voicings might work. And a little thing that I will just recommend is, in the same way that we were able to add our pinky to add a little bit of spice, but not so much that it overwrites the chord, maybe something I'll recommend is when you're going through and you're looking for extra chords that might work, don't worry if one of these two middle notes doesn't exactly line up or doesn't exactly follow the function or the harmony of the chords. The benefit or the versatility of this voicing is that because the notes are separated by a semitone and packed into the middle of the voicing, you can kind of sneak your way into adding a note that would not technically or would not usually fit. See what I mean? So, I hope that was useful. I hope you got some ideas from this versatile chord voicing, and please let me know in the comments if there are some other applications that you have discovered by using this voicing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.